Join Boise State Public Radio for a concert with blues rock guitarist and vocalist Coco Montoya at the Treefort Music Hall in Boise, February 13th, with reserved seating. A night with Coco Montoya and his band. Find details and a link for tickets at boisestatepublicradio.org.
More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. Disconnecting in order to reconnect may sound counterintuitive, but it's important for our mental health, especially for our kids, which is why, for the second year in a row, Life Outdoors is inviting teens to share their adventures in nature as part of a multimedia contest. The initiative invites kids to unplug and go explore. So joining us now to talk more about the contest is Dick Jordan, the executive director of Life Outdoors. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is great.
So can you start out by telling us a little bit more about Life Outdoors and how it got started?
Life Outdoors, I started probably 15 years ago, but didn't actually make it a nonprofit until a couple years ago. And, as a former AP Bio, AP Environmental Science teacher, I found that the greatest things I could do for my students were to get them outdoors. And so I figured I took them on over 300 field trips. And so now that I'm officially retired, I can put my energy into Life Outdoors and just provide opportunities because that's what young people need.
Well, what inspired the contest itself?
Well, I've always thought that some kids are doing the outdoors well. So there are kids that snowboard and hunt and fish and rock climb and all of those things. And they should be kind of the ambassadors for other kids to get outside. Because what we're seeing today is that kids are really getting sucked into social media. And we've got a mental health epidemic on our hands. And so we've got to use young people that are experiencing the outdoors to show others that there's a better way to challenge themselves.
In today's world, as you mentioned, so many teens do struggle with their mental health. So I'm curious about a contest like this, because this includes some super cool prizes. I would think that might help motivate some of them to get outside and it could have a positive impact on them. I mean, yes, they're part of the contest. Yes, they could win a prize, but maybe they'll find, a new love of the outdoors.
Well, that's the goal. The goal is to step away. As you mentioned, this mental illness is a big deal. I mean, when you think about the effects on depression, anxiety, self-harm, suicide, I mean, the numbers are just alarming. And I think what we've got to do is we've got to kind of give the kids a chance to go out. And that's us adults. I mean, if you think about it, we've actually grew up in an age that wasn't really virtual. And so, I think it's our job to provide those opportunities and to share our passions and love for hunting, fishing, climbing, hiking, bird watching, whatever we do. So I think the older generation has a huge responsibility to provide opportunities. And these kids are they're dying for something new and different. And so it makes me wake up every morning just thrilled to be part of it.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the stories that were submitted and shared last year?
Yeah, I sure can. There were many, but I'll share a couple. The guy that actually won it from Boise High, Henry Baldiga, he did a video on bouldering down by Swan Falls with some of his buddies. And what he did is he really captured kind of the addictive power of social media. And so it kind of starts out with him, are you going to go, his mom says, are you going to go outside and are you going to, go boulder with your friends? He goes, I don't know. I got so much going on. And it kind of shows him kind of glued to his phone. And then, she finally talks him into it and he goes down and has a ball. And it's very inspiring because it shows what we see all around us, that people are glued to their phones, and there's this wonderful world of life all around us, and yet people are living, someone else's life. And so that was really fun. And then I asked him to do a follow-up video because he went on this incredible sawtooth adventure that I set up, 2 days in Stanley, rafting and staying with his family and everything. And that little video really encapsulates, the fun and adventure he had on that escape to Stanley, one of my favorite places.
I wanted to know if you could talk a little bit about this year's contest because it started just a few days ago. So, how long do people have to make a submission? Where do they send their submissions?
Right. So it started on Monday, like you said, and it's going to go till April the 3rd. And people can just look at My Life Outdoors on Idaho Public Television. And it's just that simple to submit it there. My Life Outdoors on Idaho Public Television. And they'll see all the rules and all the expectations and everything. And so, yes, we're hoping to get a ton of submissions here from all over the state. And we did last year, but we want to triple or quadruple the numbers that we got last year.
Well, I have to tell you, what a great thing you're doing for kids. We've been speaking with Dick Jordan. He is the executive director of Life Outdoors. We've been talking about the My Life Outdoors contest. We'll make sure to put a link to the contest on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. You've been listening to Idaho Matters from Boise State Public Radio. I'm Gemma Gaudette.
Whether Boise State Public Radio brings a smile to your day, some inspiration, or a greater connection to Idaho and the world, we're proud to be here with you. Federal funding, about $1.60 per person annually, helps keep these trusted services strong and accessible to everyone in our community. Learn how you can safeguard local public media stations like ours by visiting protectmypublicmedia.org.